Inclusion and diversity is a topic that is catching a lot of attention and action these days. Asia from this context is very relevant, given it is home to two-thirds of the world population. But what's happening in Asia from an inclusion and diversity perspective? What are leaders thinking about it? What are they doing about it? Let's understand and explore that a little further with Grace Epp from Accenture.
The inclusion and diversity agenda is a very important thing, both in terms of the position I hold, but more importantly, it's something that I've always been very passionate about. For me, inclusion is really a celebration of individuality. It is about the fact that we all have very different strengths. And if we are able to come together where the sum is greater than its parts, to me, that is true inclusion.
So how do you, as an organization or as a leader, put together programs that ensures that the masses change their mindset?
Programs are as successful as the mindsets that they change. And in the space of inclusion and diversity, there are many different sort of mindsets to change. It isn't one single mindset. If I think about empowering women, right, it is also about giving them the confidence and the assurance and the support that they can go as far as they want to go, that their potential will take them. So I think when it comes to programs, it is important to be clear about the outcome that you're trying to achieve. Some of it could be shifting mindsets of women, some of it could be shifting mindsets of men. Right. And I think that's important, to have that comprehensive view that different initiatives are targeted to deal with different parts of shifting mindsets. I think the other thing that I find very interesting, and I think you would agree with me, is this concept of networks and the importance of networks in building your career and in leaders. I think you've shared with me in the past as well that a lot of the research that TrustSphere has done has demonstrated that while men and women typically start out building networks in a very similar fashion, right, somewhere along the lines it changes, doesn't it?
It does.
Right? I think we mentioned a bit about the fact that men seem to be better at building skip levels, right, networks and relationships. And somewhere along the line, women stop doing that. And I think those are very, very powerful insights. And that's where analytics has a real place to play into this. And again, if you look at the fact that we are aware of these insights, we provide support to our women. Right? We have about 100 different networks across the company that allows women to create and build these networks.
It's very, very interesting. So it sounds to me that you're doing two things, right? So one is you're pulling up a mirror and showing men and women where their networks are, what is their social capital, right? With the presumption that if you have an extended social capital, obviously your potential to grow in the organization increases. So that's the first. The second part is you're creating a conducive environment, I would assume, for women also to expand their social capital. But how are women taking it? Are they responsive enough? How are you helping them change their mindsets?
I think that ties in very nicely with the power of analytics, right? And I think the power of analytics, the way I see it, it is about a very sharp surgical knife that is able to cut through a lot of things and to provide actionable insights that people can actually take targeted actions. I have to say that from my experience, a lot of women have stepped up. And to be honest, a lot of men have also stepped up, right, to provide their female colleagues, co-workers, the ability to be successful as they need to be. And in the space of networking, I have seen actually quite a number of very successful events where we've brought both men and women together and to provide that opportunity to be able to build those networks internally and externally. I think analytics has three things that are very powerful. One is the clarity that it brings, that data brings to the problem. The second thing is about the ability to target and have clear actions. And the third is consistency. Right? And I think we are very fortunate today that, in the space of analytics, a lot of these applications are now being put into the world of people analytics. Right? And it is an exciting time where companies can start to think about how they use data differently to change the conversation on inclusion and diversity. And if you think about what we are doing at Accenture, and let's talk about perhaps talent acquisition, it is really important to make sure that we remove structural biases, right, from the recruitment process. And what we've done recently, last year, is we rolled out across ASEAN a new sort of assessment process as part of recruitment. And we've actually used real data, right? And this was no longer just looking at a CV, but really understanding an individual's potential. And to me, the data now gives us a lot more appreciation of an individual's strengths and the likelihood of the individual being successful in a company like Accenture and the roles that we choose to put them into.